ladies and gentlemen of all ages, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Angry Meat Production. We appreciate you coming in and letting us be a part of your lives week in and week out. We hope to do our best to present you with something that your eardrums delight in. Whether you're looking at us on YouTube or Rumble, or listening to us on Spotify, Google, or Anchor, or any of the other podcast services that we are currently on or trying to get on, we thank you. And if you don't mind, at the end of every episode, stop by, leave us a comment, leave us a like. If it asks for 5 stars, we'll take 5 stars, even if you don't like us. 5 stars are what it's all about. With that being said, we hope you enjoy our attempt to make our advocation our vocation. Ladies and gentlemen, let the games begin.
Welcome, Angry Fable. Today, we're going to talk about the good old shovel skiing. It's not shovel skiing. God damn it. It blacked out on me. Hold on. It's basically you take a shovel, you go down a hill, sledding, shovel sledding. Instead of using a sled, they use a shovel. I thought it was cute. So, one thing before we start up the show and Johnny gets to talk all his stuff and everything, we had a heartfelt thing that happened this week, March 28th, 2023. Governor Tony Evans of Wisconsin put in an executive order. If you're wondering why it's flown half-mast, a decoration military veteran, Private Simmons, served our state and our country well, giving his life in defense of the values of freedom was hold most dear. We are incredibly grateful for the efforts of his family in the defense of POW's MIA accounting agency to bring him home so that he will finally be laid to rest in peace. A native of Middleton, Wisconsin, a veteran World War II of the Company G, 2nd Battalion, 109th Infantry Regiment, 28th Infantry Division. Army Private First Class Simmons reported uncountable for on November 5th, 1944, during the Battle of Hugi Forest in Germany. His remains was designated X5767 and was interned in the Arlington's American Cemetery in 1950. With his name memorized on the Netherlands American's cemetery wall of the missing, along with other missings in World War II. In April 2019, Army Private First Class Simmons' remains were sent to the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency Laboratory for analysis and identification because of the efforts of his surviving sister and brother. The work of the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency, Army First Class Simmons' remains have been positively identified. That's the reason why we were in half-mast. That's a great story that finally bringing someone home, even at that long needing to identify. Nowadays, that was the whole thing with the unknown soldiers tomb. They have we don't really have anything from Iraq and Afghanistan, only because we give out DNA and fingerprint.
Yeah, there will never be another unknown soldier.
Yeah, which I'm happy about.
Yeah.
Still like the
first and foremost, welcome home, brother. Glad we got you squared away finally. Yep. And give you the burial that you deserve. I'm glad that your family's finally able to put some closure on this chapter in their lives, and pray and we hope that your descendants finally have a name and a face, as well as documented time frames upon which to hold a standard to. So, um, um,
Opening week.
it's opening week. Yeah, tomorrow is actually opening day. Oh, and this is the official Nerd Sports unveiling of my Team USA hat. So yeah, there you go.
Last week.
Okay.
You saw it last week.
Well, I said the Nerd Sports. I unveiled it during the what the hell.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for actively participating in this conversation, David.
No. Everybody knows by now that I end up being the producer and getting other stuff together at the same time, which I end up doing on the show instead of before the show at times because
Right.
I have to wakey up before I get on the show. I
You
should have
gotta,
done
you
it
gotta
last
wake,
night.
gotta wake you up before you go.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, opening day, and everybody is 0-0. It is the start of a brand new season. This will be the beginning of a marathon. We will not have a singular weekend without baseball for 7 months.
you're so happy about that.
I'm fucking elated, dude. I am over the moon. I mean, everybody's got their favorites. Everybody's, our team can win it all. This is our year, yada, yada, yada. I am not, yes, I am a diehard Washington, the Bloody Sox, Red Sox fan,
No,
but,
if they watch the show behind you.
but right, yeah. But I,
Are you not excited for this year for the Red Sox?
dude, I'm excited for any degree of Red Sox baseball.
But you paused.
I'm not one of these Red Sox fans that's going to be like, you smell that? It smells like our year,
Well, from what? Okay,
because here's the thing. Nobody wins the world championship in April. They don't win it in May, June, July, August, September,
yeah, we got to wait until
or
October.
even October. Because of the expanded playoff schedules, there will not be a World Series champion crowned until early November. It's all about maintaining that grind and trying to stay as consistent as possible for the 162 games. And then once you're in the playoffs, it's peaking at the right time. That means our starters have got to stay healthy. They've got to maintain consistent control of their pitches. The defense has got to stay solid, and the bats are going to come and go. They're going to ebb and flow like the tide. But it's all about the clutch hits at the right time. It's all about situational baseball and exercising the fact that you make millions of dollars to have an incredibly high baseball IQ. So
that, and if you pay the umpires the right amount.
no.
But okay. The
No,
reason why I
okay,
said,
no. Let me clarify that disagreement. We do not have the commissioner, Robert Manclown Manfred, in the back pocket of our ownership group. We don't have special baseballs being curated or stored or humidified or juiced or whatever
I know
for
Texas uses Texas clay. Texas Rangers dump all their balls in Texas clay.
what they use. It comes from a I think it comes from a river in Delaware, and that's every ball.
Oh, really?
Every ball. Now, where Texas may get some of their infield dirt, well, at least for their pitching mound, because Globe Life Field is AstroTurf.
Don't say it that way. You're using words again against.
I know, but we're not here to bash on the Texas Rangers. Texas Rangers
Chris
are
isn't here to defend.
on paper,
Really say
on
that.
paper, they are set to have a really good season. Um,
Well, the reason why I brought up the umpires because you and Chris were battling it out. I'll say battling out because it sounds more dramatic.
we weren't battling it out.
I know you guys weren't battling it out, but you're having a discussion on the group chat that we eventually made about the umpires this last couple of games.
Well, okay, so JT Realmuto, he's the catcher for the Philadelphia Phillies, and Craig Kimbrell, sorry, I can't talk. Um, he was, told, hey, look, no, you're quick pitching, you can't do that, and so he's like, all right, he's like, well, I don't want this ball.
Pitching.
So, well, quick pitch is where you don't allow the batter to get set in his batting stance before you deliver the next pitch. It's kind of
that, but nowadays, since you have that timer, is it considered quick pitching?
Yes, it is, because regardless of the time constraint, the batter still has to be in a set position before you deliver the ball.
Okay.
Okay. Now, Kimbrel decided he's gonna Kimbrel's like, well, I don't like the quality of this ball, so he throws it back. And JT Realmuto was like, okay, he puts his glove back and he's looking at his pitcher. He's just waiting for that, that weight difference in his glove so he can throw his pitcher the ball. Well, he's looking at his pitcher, and his pitcher's got his glove up like that, like the umpire is going to throw the ball back to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So JT Realmuto goes, okay, and just takes his glove away. Well, the umpire throws, he just drops the ball like he's going to drop it in the catcher's glove. Well, he takes it personally. He thinks that, oh, well, they're just trying to clown me. I'm going to toss this catcher. And if you watch the video and you read Realmuto's lips, he's like, I thought you were going to throw the ball back. And the umpire's like, no. He goes, you threw the ball to him once before, and my pitcher was reacting like you were going to throw the ball to him, so that's why I took my glove away. And he's like, oh, well, you're gone, right? So, what I, and here's the thing. Umpires, whether it's Joe West, whether it's Angel Hernandez, I forget the name of the guy involved in this latest incident. The game is not about you. You are not what's on display during the game.
Yeah, you're supposed to be the rule.
You are the officiant of this game. You are the official. You are the judge, jury, not the executioner, but you're the judge and jury. You make the calls on the field in accordance to A, your training, and B, the baseball handbook. Yes, we have the ability to challenge your calls, but that's because you're human and we understand that you make mistakes. However, when you take things personally and you make it a point to dictate the outcome of a game potentially, that's where you as an official cross the line, and you have now shown everybody just exactly how white and hairless your ass really is. So
you're
what I think that
angry.
what I think needs to happen is that these umpires, they need to start being held accountable. Now, we've already got a grading system in place, which is why we'll never see Angel Hernandez call a World Series game, because he's absolutely horrible. Okay. He is by far and away the worst umpire in the majors, period, hands down.
You still have a job.
He sued Major League Baseball citing racial discrimination. So, unfortunately, yes, I understand that we're saying this as two white heterosexual males. without pronouns, because we don't have the need or nor the desire to
Even
qualify.
though, even though
our
you have to have
gender.
pronouns in the fucking military now. It we could go off.
We could go down that road, but
Yeah,
this
for
is
an
sports
hour.
show. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
it's a
is
sports show.
So, as two white heterosexual males without the need for pronouns, we understand that it sounds a little sketchy, I guess, for lack of a better word, coming from us, but it's one of the easiest cards to play next to the race card. If you feel like as you're losing an argument where you know that you're in the wrong, but you're trying to establish some kind of foothold to institutionalize your presence, the easiest thing to do is cry race. The easiest thing to do is cry it's to cry race. It's really all that it boils down to.
I've only had that happen to me once where I was the better person.
Candidate, but you got passed over because of the equal opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Where they keep talking about white privilege, and I have yet to.
And the guy got pissed off because they kept on going above him to go to me. Because I was like, he's like, why did they? I was like, because I was the better candidate, and you.
Right. Now, this was a very, very busy off season for baseball. A lot of moves were made. A lot of trades were made.
Do they trade at
the Red Sox got an amazing Japanese prospect. He's going to be roaming the outfield for us.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Do they do the trade deadline right before the season, or is it like a couple of days, or is it like
there's a trade deadline during the season? It's usually in the second half of the season.
Yeah, it's
around
usually
September.
August.
Yeah, August or September. But you've got your free agency market that opens up after the season's over.
Okay.
And then you got your Rule 5 draft and stuff like that, where the teams that enter that draft can just pick a player from anywhere, and there's certain stipulations that have to be met, where else this player has to go back, and then there's penalties assigned, and it's way too complicated for me to get into right now. It's funny because I'm looking at Facebook, and the Angels have claimed spring training champions of the Cactus League, where they play out in Arizona, and the Cardinals claimed that they were spring training champions of the Grapefruit League, which is Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, it was spring training. It didn't amount to dick. All it did was get the starters and the regulars stretched out for regular season shape, and help the managers decide who they were going to send down to the minors, who they were going to release. And
it's basically
what is your 40-man roster going to look like on opening day?
Yeah, it's basically getting your kinks out, making sure everything's lubed up, and
yeah, I mean, it's in the name, spring, which is why it's happening in the spring. Training, because you're training for opening day.
You're using big words again, Johnny. I don't think our audience needs those big words that you are using.
Okay. You're all right. Fine.
But people need to know that they're winning, even though they could be the losing team for the rest of the season. But they need that little. It's like
we finished 0-162, but by God, we won spring training.
Yeah. Basically.
We're gonna hang our hat on that. No, come on, man. I mean, that's like, that's like
talking to a hot chick and not even getting her number or anything like that. But at least I talked to her, even though it was just, "Hey, how you doing? Okay, later." I mean, that's what basically
it's like doing the what about something about Mary, pre-date stress reliever before getting a prostitute or something. It's like, you're going to get lucky, but you already
you got your pregame shot, so you don't look like a total douchebag. I mean,
lack of a better term. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say
The
moving
Rangers are going to
on.
have a decent season as long as they can keep their clubhouse chemistry under control. The Phillies they're looking to defend their National League pennant. The Astros are opening up at home. They are going to look to defend their World Series championship.
Hopefully without you.
Dude, it's going to be crazy. I mean, we've got, let's see here. Let me look at the regular season opening day. Okay, so opening day, we've got Atlanta opening up at Washington. We've got San Francisco opening up against the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. Baltimore's opening their season at Fenway against the Red Sox. The Brewers are going to open up in Chicago against the Cubs. Detroit at Tampa Bay. Philadelphia is at Texas. So that's going to be a tall order for the Rangers to win their opening day game, because you've got the defending National League champions that came in within 2 games of winning the World Series last year, opening up in your house to start the 2023 campaign. You've got Pittsburgh at Cincinnati, Colorado at San Diego, Toronto at St. Louis, Minnesota at Kansas City, New York Mets opening up in Miami. The White Sox are here at Houston to open up the season at Minute Maid Park against the World Series champion Houston Astros. The Los Angeles Angels opening up in Oakland, Arizona at Los Angeles, and Cleveland at Seattle. Seattle, Los Angeles, and Oakland are going to be the late night games. Those are all being played on the West Coast. Shohei Ohtani is going to open the season on the mound for the Angels. Let me see
Love
here.
that. You know what? Every time I hear his name, I love it.
Shohei Ohtani, yeah. And you know, I mean, the dude is.
He's decent. It's just I just love his name. It's like he
I mean, to be completely, he's humble, and he backs it up.
Yeah.
He really does. He backs it up 100%. Other notables, we've got Garrett Cole opening up for the Yankees against the Giants. Max Fried is opening up for Atlanta. We've got Corey Kluber, newest member of the Red Sox pitching staff, opening up for the Red Sox against the Orioles. We've got Marcus Stroman, who's starting his new job with the Cubs, opening up on the mound. We see here we've got Jacob deGrom, which is the ace pitcher. The biggest pitching acquisition of the offseason was Jacob deGrom, and the Rangers won that sweepstakes. So he's opening up at home on opening day for the Rangers. We've got Zach Greinke. He's back in Kansas City. He got the nod for opening day tomorrow. We've got Max Scherzer for the Mets. He's opening up in Miami for the Mets. We've got Farmer Valdez, one of the World Series heroes for the Astros last year. He's getting the nod for the opening day game. As I stated, Shohei Ohtani for the Angels. Let's see here. On Friday, we've got game 2 of the New York Mets Miami series, Chicago White Sox again at Houston, Colorado at San Diego. We've got Javier. Dude, this guy was an absolute stud in the World Series for the Astros on the mound. He's getting the game 2 start. Let me see here. We've got Nathan Eovaldi, who pitched for the Red Sox for a few years, to include time during the 2018 World Series champion campaign for the Red Sox, from Alvin, Texas, which is just up the road from here, same town that Nolan Ryan is from. He is now a member of the Texas Rangers, and he gets the game 2 start for the Rangers. Chris Sale, finally back from injury last year. He came off of Tommy John surgery last year and pitched like an inning and a half before he got injured again.
Yeah, we were talking about that all last year. How we
Yeah,
wanted
he
him
broke
back.
he broke his finger on a comebacker.
Are you
Uh,
fucking kidding me?
well, he was on the mound and the hitter made contact and sent it right back to him, and it broke the pinky on his pitching hand.
Someone, okay. This is what they need to do. They need to either get an exorcist, whatever, or a shaman to make sure the curse that's around him is broken. Because this is here and lately, he gets up there and then he hurts himself, and it's not his fault.
Well,
It's just he's
to be
seen
fair,
bro.
to be fair, Chris Sale admittedly came out and told the Red Sox nation that he's like, "Look, I've got a lot to make up for. I've got a lot to prove to everybody, including myself."
Yeah,
So he
I mean
said
he's not saying that
when they broke camp and headed north back to Fenway, um,
you mean Fenway Park.
Fenway Park, that's right. Um, he said he was feeling good and he's ready. He's ready for the season. So are we going to see Chris Sale of old where he's averaging 9.6 strikeouts per 9 innings? Probably not. Will we see a more consistent Chris Sale? I'm really hoping. If we can keep his pitch count down and get him some length, from the first pitch to take some of that stress off of our bullpen, which I don't have a lot of faith and confidence in. I think that we could probably guarantee, we could probably count on about 80 to 90% of his starts being wins. So, as long as we can get some longevity out of our starters, and take that pressure off of our bullpen, I think we'll be okay. Other notable pitchers starting for day 2, Michael Wacha, who pitched for the Red Sox last year. Most notably, he was on the World Series squad in 2013 for the St. Louis Cardinals that lost to the Boston Red Sox. But Michael Wacha from Texarkana, Texas, he's playing for the San Diego Padres now, so he's getting the day 2 nod. The big matchup of the weekend's looking to be Clayton Kershaw versus Madison Bumgarner. That's going to be in Los Angeles, the Dodgers versus the Diamondbacks. That's going to be a fun game to watch. But yeah, it's baseball is back, man. I just downloaded MLB The Show 23 for my Xbox, so I'm probably going to
You're getting ready.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to crack into that and restart my player profile for the new game. And I'm like, okay, so thank God for Xbox Game Pass and being able to play stuff on day one. I don't have to pay for the game. I'm kind of technically paying for it, but it's whatever. I just have to tear myself away from Far Cry 6 long enough to be able to play. Because, dude, Far Cry 6, everybody's like, oh, it's buggy, it's glitchy, and then they patched the crap out of it. And I happened to come across it at GameStop. They had it on clearance for like $11. And so I picked it up. I used one of my $5 monthly coupons. Mm-hmm. So I picked it up for like $6 and change. Dude, I've been playing the snot out of that game. That game is fun.
Last weekend I ended up playing Diablo 4.
Yeah, I mean, but if you have a chance to play Far Cry 6, do it. Dude, it's an incredible, it's even it's got a hidden Stranger Things themed DLC. Which was fun because you go into the Upside Down.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I was like, wow, this is cool. It's even got the music and it's a whole thing. But yeah.
But we got some NFL news too.
Yeah, some NFL news. Let me get to that real quick. And then after we get done football, before we jump into hockey, I'm going to give Colin a call. I'm going to bring him in so he can do his segment.
Okay.
But we got Derek Carr. He's now the quarterback of the the New Orleans Saints. Good God. That's yeah. Nobody really knows what's going to happen with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. They put a non-exclusive franchise player tag on him, which means he's available to talk to other teams. He's available to sign with other teams. So technically he's a free agent, but if nobody signs him, he's right back in Baltimore, pretty much playing for what they wanted to sign him. What they want to pay for him. Now, Jets owner Woody Johnson said not the patient sort, but says team remains optimistic about getting Aaron Rodgers via a trade. Dude, Aaron Rodgers is 39.
It's like the guy
He's
that has
39 years old. He's not Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He's got one Super Bowl to his name. Not to say that he's not a good quarterback.
He's a really good quarterback. I like him as a quarterback.
Yeah, when he's on, right?
Yeah.
But when he's sporting the man bun and he's going on darkness retreats,
you will not get off of that man bun.
Nobody really wants to deal with it because he just kind of,
you will not get off that man bun.
I almost want to blame Danica Patrick because they dated for a little bit.
Yeah.
And Danica Patrick's into that whole holistic healing yoga thing. And yeah,
what you need to do is you need to get the
I'm
Joe.
not growing a man bun.
No. I will slap the shit out of you, grow a man bun. What you need to do is
as of right now, I need a haircut because my hair.
I need one too. Yeah. What you need to do is check out Joe Rogan's podcast with Aaron Rodgers on it. Oh man, that's
probably I'll queue it up and I'll listen to it while I'm at work.
That's what really sold me on him because that's one thing I love about podcasts and stuff that we do, and everybody else does nowadays.
Yeah,
you get to know the person,
and you know what I love. Talking about listening to podcasts on Spotify, not only does Joe Rogan have video for his podcast, but so do we.
Yeah, I just switched it up. I could have switched it up like a couple of months ago.
I know. But that's a big thing. Okay. Yeah. Don't steal my thunder. Don't minimize it. Don't suck the wind out of my sails here. So you don't have to go exclusively to YouTube where you're going to be interrupted by commercials potentially. You can just go to Spotify and turn your phone landscape like everybody should when you're taking pictures and watch us while you're listening to us. So not only do your ear holes get just bombarded and they're just awash with dripping, oozing masculinity and amateur humor, but you can gaze upon, when Chris Jacka is with us, the sexiness of his polar bear beard, the awkwardness of David, and well, then there's me as a consolation prize. So
whatever you do, don't feed his fucking ego.
Who, Chris's?
No, yours.
No, dude, if you had been actively listening.
No.
I took the low spot on the podium there for you. Because I called myself a consolation prize.
Everybody likes the consolation prize on this one, though. They're like,
that's only because they slum every once in a while.
He's a consolation prize? Nuh-uh, no, sir.
I'm just saying. Anyways, so as of now, they've yet to come to an agreement on. We're talking about the Jets and the Packers. Neither side is even close to agreeing on what they think that Aaron Rodgers is worth. They're expecting eventually that they'll come to a compromise and execute a deal, but Woody Johnson said he's already getting impatient. He sees an opportunity directly in front of his team, and he isn't interested in hesitation. So to me, that's kind of, I don't know necessarily how invested they are already in this deal, or, what have you. But that, to me, that sounds like if there's another quarterback that's on the same level, if not a little bit higher than Aaron Rodgers is, that becomes available, don't think that the Jets won't capitalize on that.
Yeah. And one other thing that we have in here is the sale, or the as commander trends towards a sell. Dan Snyder and NFL owners look to have an easy out. Apparently they're trying to
So the District of Washington Commanders.
Well, they got two bids. With the staggering price tag in the mix, offered in two bids, according to ESPN, to purchase the Washington Commanders, who need to vote the embattled Dan Snyder out of the exclusive NFL ownership club, when he can take the record-breaking money and run. Considering everything, the fan base, the Snyder family, the NFL, the fact that he's chosen to make a transition is, in my opinion, the right decision. Atlanta Falcons owner Arthur Blake told USA Today Sports Story during the league meeting that concluded on Tuesday, but he has declined to that. So
yeah, I mean, Dan Snyder he's a bigger cancer on the NFL than Jerry Jones. And I say that as a Cowboys fan. So, it's
dude, is it, sorry to interrupt you on this one, but is it, you're just saying that is she like right next to you? Blink a couple of times to say you're safe. Blink a couple of times to say you're safe. I just need you to blink a couple. There we go. Okay. I feel that you're safe.
wait, hold on. Let me see if I can do this right.
If you know SOS.
Right. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, between the Dan Snyder saga and the Aaron Rodgers Chronicles, I don't know, man.
I mean, it's drama at its best, but only if you like.
Yeah, I mean, the next time that the NFL is going to become relevant in the news is going to be when the draft happens. So we'll see what happens there.
That happens in April. Yeah, it happens. I know exactly when it happens. April 17th. The other reason why that is because Chris has got to go up to Dallas. He has to go up. He has to go up to Dallas for a charity
Draft watch party.
Yeah, for the draft watch party. Because he already.
I mean, some guys, I'm telling you, dude, they just have just such a hard life.
He was bitching that I was in Haiti in a hotel room doing security work and everything. He's like, "You got a hotel?" I'm like, "Dude, that wasn't even considered a hotel for me. It was. I had walls that might have been able to protect me. God, I will never go any. I don't mind every once in a while doing security work. Well, I'm glad I don't have to worry about that now because of the job I have right now. And the only reason why I took that job is because I was laid off.
Yeah.
So glad I didn't ever.
All right. So before we get into the NHL, let me get Colin in here real quick. Let me get him pulled up.
Okay. I bring that too. Oh, is it? I haven't listened to Colin's stuff, but is the screen sharing helping?
Oh no, I haven't even tried that yet. Hold on. Let me bring him in.
Are you fucking kidding?
Post disabled participant screen sharing. What is up, my guy? Hi. So it's just me and David this week. Chris isn't here. He's picking up his kiddos. Yeah, don't do that. You eating Cheez-Its? Yeah. Okay. Oh, you ready to go, bud? All right. So before I go into your intro,
If you want to know if it's okay.
what? Do what? And the call failed. You gotta love modern technology. It says that host disabled participant screen sharing. So you still have it turned off.
Why does it keep on going? I'm seriously gonna get
Hold
different.
I don't know.
Try it now.
Anyway, it's opening day this week. Tomorrow actually is opening day. For stay with me, Colin. Tomorrow's opening day. There we go. All right. No, that one's okay. That one's okay. All right. So, without further ado, in the absence of our sexy polar bear, Chris Jacka, there's a void, a hole in our hearts that yearns to be filled. From the depths of my nether regions comes the hope, the light, the second chance for humanity. Hailing from a town 6.5 hours away, or 5 hours and 45 minutes, 5.5 hours if I'm driving, comes my genetic code on display for your ears and now your eyes if you're on Spotify, to bring to you humorous statements, limericks, jokes that will leave you questioning your humanity, your morality, and your patience for barking dogs. I give you joke time with Colin.
The guy tries suffocating himself with his BMW's exhaust pipe, but the engine failed. First time German engineering failed to gas somebody.
Oh, 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 oh.
and that's coming from David, who drives a Volkswagen.
They're good cars.
Okay, all right. So already we're already picking up the game, and we're last week left off. So, all right, what else you got for us, bud?
Did you know they made a medicine for depressed lesbians? It's called tricloxygen.
I've heard of that one, but it's still funny as hell.
Oh, okay. All right.
Why is
What are you doing? Quit hitting your phone.
oh, why is reverse cowgirl illegal in Alabama? Because you can't turn your back on your family.
I've heard that one too. That's still funny.
Is that all you got for this week, buddy?
Yeah,
Okay.
I had to make it for last week.
Oh yeah, you did. You definitely did. But you did. You came through. Mr. Clutch is your title now once again. You want to stick around for the hockey segment?
Hockey, what now?
Do you want to stick around for the hockey part, the segment where I cover hockey real quick?
Okay.
Okay. Well, the playoff picture in the NHL is getting just a little bit clearer. Nobody in the Western Conference has clinched a playoff spot yet. At all.
Really?
But in the Eastern Conference, you've got your Metropolitan Division, your Atlantic Division, and your wild card divisions, right? Or wild card spots.
Yeah.
Well, in the Metropolitan, Carolina, New Jersey, and the New York Rangers have all clinched playoff spots. The Toronto Maple Leafs are setting up their fan base for yet another horrible disappointment in the playoffs by clinching a playoff spot. Not only, but not only have the Boston Bruins clinched a playoff spot, but they are the first team to clinch their division. So the Boston Bruins own the Atlantic Division, and they have a record right now of 57, 12, and 5. They have a point differential of 107 or about plus 117. How incredibly nuts is that? I mean, at this point in the season, they have a .08 or a .804 winning percentage.
Damn.
Regardless as to whether or not the Boston Bruins hit that all-time mark set
What's
by the
what's
Montreal Canadiens a few years ago,
I'm trying to
back in the 60s, I believe. This is going to be one of the all-time greatest seasons if the Bruins can actually finish this off and lift Lord Stanley's Cup at the end of the season or at the end of the playoffs. Because you know,
it was the Detroit
talk
Red
about
Wing.
season single stats like David Pastrana has 50 goals this year already. Yeah. Ullman, their starting goaltender, he's got 36 save or 36 wins.
Well, from looking at this, the 1995-1996 Detroit Red Wings, who finished 62-13-7 and tied in 2018 and 2019 by the Tampa Bay Ray Lightnings of 62-16 to 4. So
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I almost kind of want. I don't want them to slide into the playoffs on a loss. I want them to finish the season strong, but I want them to kind of pace themselves throughout the course of the playoffs. Play the same style of hockey that they've been playing all season long. I think that they can be able to finish that out. I mean, really the only team out of the Western Conference that I'm even remotely worried about is right now it's Vegas. Vegas and Minnesota are at the top of their respective divisions. So, I'm just kind of like, okay, let's, Dallas can get hot at the right time. I'm kind of like, okay. So once the playoffs start, I'm going to be all about the bees, dude. That's all I'm going to be about. I'm all about the Bruins. Because I mean, if they can bring the Stanley Cup back home to Boston, and then the Red Sox can, do what they did back in 2018, actually, 2018. I mean, 2017 they finished in last place, and then in the 2018 season, as Colin will attest, they won the World Series. So, they finished in last place last year. So, I mean,
That's in my opinion, that's when our team was at its prime.
Oh, in the 2018 squad, yeah, absolutely, 113 wins. Yeah, but actually, no, that was 118 win season if you count all the playoff victories. But yeah, dude, I mean, it was absolutely bonkers. But Colin, if y'all's school district is going to be using the snow day for the day after Easter?
I don't know. All I know is Friday. Oh, there's no Fridays off.
Yeah, Friday. Yeah, so I'm going to be up there on Thursday to get you guys. Right.
I put the box with the Wii in it, in a spot where I can't forget it.
Okay, all right. Well, give brother a hug for me. I will give you guys a call this weekend, and I love you guys. Love you 3,000, buddy.
Love you.
All right, later.
Later.
And just like that, everybody, he's gone. Out of our, not of our lives, but out of our earshot and out of our line of sight. Disconnected by technology and distance, but roaming the open prairie and the fields like a Ronin in medieval Japan. Answering the call where he is needed to bring hope, to bring light, to bring humor, and to shed some light on the debauchery that we all have hidden deep inside of us. My genetic code, everybody, on display. Once again, you are welcome. This has been Joke Time with Colin. I was starting to sputter out a little bit there. NASCAR.
Gas in you.
Do I know?
Need to get a little bit more gas in you.
Dude, I am just absolutely exhausted, man. Because I mean, we're in our last 6 weeks, like I told you pre-show, last 6 weeks for the semester, between work, and then I've got the month of April is my surgery month, so like,
Yeah, it's gonna be one of those. April's gonna be a weird month for us because Chris got things to do. Then me and Chris are gonna hang out in San Antonio, and I'm gonna help him move. It's just
so. The week of the see, for us, it's either going to be the 11th, I think it is. It's a Tuesday in April.
Mhm.
Usually when we record Tuesdays, right? Tuesdays.
Tuesday, Mondays, yeah.
Yeah. So the week of the 14th is, well, Colin's birthday is on the 14th of April.
Yeah.
So you need to collaborate with Chris a little bit, kind of let him in. When we bring Colin in for his segment, we need to do something. Whether it's sing him happy birthday,
Sing a happy birthday,
or something. Contributing to the show. I don't know. Do we have a Venmo or something like that for the show?
I know we have a cat. Shit, I don't even know. Oh, I'll get us a Cash App one.
Okay, well, get that squared away, because what I would like, because Colin has definitely added to the substance of this show.
God, yeah, he almost kills freaking Chris. He was each and every time.
Yes.
I'm seriously surprised Chris doesn't end up like on the floor dead on a couple of those jokes. But if anything, we'll collab on something.
Nice.
We'll collab. After the show.
I gotta pimp this. Okay. So, parents on a budget, right? We had to deal with it growing up, like parents getting off-brand stuff or getting the store generics and stuff like that.
I have a story on that. It's fucking hilarious.
Right. But HEB, I absolutely love this store down here. We pay what, $4 or $5 for a box of goldfish?
For a bag that size.
This was $1.50.
Jesus.
And it tastes just like.
And they're better than goldfish.
Mhm.
Wow.
HEB for the win. So
Biden is trying to ban gas stoves.
yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Yes. Our incompetent in chief is trying to ban gas stoves. Did you hear about that one? Yeah, I know. I was just as dumbfounded when I heard that too.
God, I can't wait till his fucking ass is out of office.
Yeah.
Honestly, I honestly can't wait till he gets out of office. So
Yeah.
his administration.
Daniel Suarez was fined $50,000 after this weekend's race at Coda.
Uh-huh.
He ran into not only his teammate on pit road after the race, but also ran into the back of Alex Bowman, who drives the 48 Allied Camaro for Hendrick Motorsports. He was fined $50,000 for that stunt.
Did he do it on purpose, or is it just?
Yeah, no, did it on purpose.
Fucking why? Is he just being like a little bitch?
Just yeah, basically, just kind of being a little bitch. Let me see here. The where? Come on. Where is that? Hendrick Motorsports, they appealed their penalty, $400,000 penalty for allegedly messing with the louvers that are on the hoods, because those are prefabricated parts, right? Single source parts, and the rule is you can't touch them, right?
Wait a minute. The it's the clip to keep the hood on, right?
No, not the hood clips, not the hood pins.
Okay.
But if you look at the new model car on the hood, whether it's Chevy, Toyota, Ford,
Yeah.
they've got louvers on the hood that look like vents, little slats. Yeah.
Okay.
Now the National Motorsports Appeal Panel ruled Wednesday, which was today, to amend the L2 level penalties issued to Hendrick Motorsports for an unapproved parts modification entering the March 12th weekend at Phoenix. The decision upholds the fines of $100,000 issued to the 5, the 9, the 24, and the 48 teams. That's still $400,000, respectively, as well as the 4 race suspensions handed down to the 4 crew chiefs. However, each team is restored 100 owners points and 10 playoff points. Kyle Larson, William Byron, and Alex Bowman received the same points back from the initial reduction. NASCAR Xfinity Series regular Josh Berry, who's filling in the 9 car while Chase Elliott's leg heals, he was not penalized because he doesn't compete for cup points. So at the beginning of the season, you have to declare what series you're going to drive for the championship in, whether it's trucks, the Xfinity, or a cup. And if you run in the other 2 series, you don't earn points towards that championship.
Makes sense.
The only thing you're really doing is earning owner points or car points if you're filling in for a driver. Now, Hendrick Motorsports or NASCAR released a statement, says, quote, "We are pleased that the National Motorsports Appeal Panel agreed that Hendrick Motorsports violated the rule book. However, we are disappointed that the entirety of the penalty was not upheld. A points penalty is a strong deterrent that is necessary to govern the garage following rulebook violations, and we believe that it was an important part of the penalty in this case and moving forward. We will continue to inspect and officiate the NASCAR garage at the highest level of scrutiny to ensure a fair and level playing field for our fans in the entire garage." Now, the crew chiefs for the regular crew chiefs for Hendrick Motorsports, they're eligible to come back to their respective pit boxes at the Martinsville race weekend. Now, while Hendrick Motorsports appealed those penalties, they elected to keep the 4 crew chiefs sidelined for the Cup event in Atlanta. So what that in essence did is it got a kind of a head start on that penalty. So if they had been there for the Atlanta race, then we would see them 1 weekend later, kind of a thing.
Do you think the crew, with the crew chiefs and everything, and when you're describing it, I was just thinking, what if they just did it and they're just like, it shouldn't matter?
Well, Okay, so NASCAR with this generation of car is trying to uh, the biggest reason that they sold this car for on the teams was cost containment and parity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to give the lower tier teams just as much of an opportunity to win a race
There's
as
the
the
higher
higher
team, yeah.
right. So now the hood louvers, you know, I mean, they're openings in the vents that serve as a release point for the ducts, so that, you know, for the ducts that transfer the air out of the radiator. So the system is intended to decouple engine performance from air roll performance. So in layman's terms, what that means is that you don't have to sacrifice aerodynamics for keeping the engine cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what it does is it offsets the practice of teams having to tape off air intakes on the front, right? So like back in the day, you used to see pit crews slapping tape across the grill to reduce the size of that air opening, and you run the risk of overheating the engine to gain downforce. So what downforce does on that front end is the lower that car gets to the racing surface, it eliminates turbulence underneath the car, and it sucks that vehicle down to the track as much as possible, so you go faster. So you're cutting a more cleaner hole through the air.
Basically, what you're saying is this design is actually what you just described to actually as an automatic. So
Mhm, yeah.
everybody gets the same thing. They don't have to worry about, you know, someone putting in tape and everything. And one another thing is just clutter on the field.
Right. So, but the initial penalty, it was in the following sections of the 2023 rule book. It was section 6.1, which is time, manner, location. 14.1 point C, D, and Q, which is the overall assembled vehicle rules, and then rule 14.5.4.2.A, which is the radiator duct. The penalties that were issued were a loss of 100 championship owner points, 10 playoff points per driver, and a loss of 100 championship points, or 10 playoff points per driver, and then 100 points towards the championship to each driver. And then $100,000 fine for each team, and then a 4-race suspension for the crew chiefs. Now, to me, I don't know, that just kind of seems a little heavy-handed. I mean, because you're looking at that's almost $500,000,
Yeah.
right? And you know, it's one of those situations where if you're going to enforce a rule like that, because normally if the car goes through tech 3 times and it fails 3 times, the crew chief is automatically suspended for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If you catch something in tech, bring it to the team's attention and tell them you have 1 attempt and you've got 1 hour to fix this. Right? If they go back through and they admit and it's the same deficiency, then hand out that, you know, that penalty by all means. Because you know, if you listen to like Dale Jr.'s download, he talks to a lot of old drivers, a lot of car chiefs, a lot of old mechanics, and they're always talking about innovating, you know, things back in the heyday of NASCAR. Anything from releasing lead shot out of the frame rails to make the cars lighter during the race, or using nitrous during qualifying, you know, drilling pinholes in the carburetor so that way the air intake is, you know, on a restrictor plate track, you have an advantage because you're pulling more air because of pinholes that were drilled in your, you know, air intake, you know, things like that. I mean, just a number of different things, right? You know, so and that was the age of innovation, right? But I mean, with the way that this car is designed, it's it's almost not even a stock. It's not a stock car by any stretch of the imagination. It's a chassis that is mandated by NASCAR to fit a certain template. The nose and the tail come from the manufacturers, and those are agreed upon by NASCAR. And then basically everything from the A pillar to the C pillar are the same car, right? With the exception of like some cosmetic stuff, right?
Yeah, and the name on the engine.
Yeah, I mean the engine. So you're either getting a manufacturer engine from Toyota, or you're getting a
And they're almost two specs of the same freaking engine.
yeah, I mean they all have to have the same cubic displacement. They've all got to have the same horsepower range. You can do little tweaks with things like how how you gear the transmissions, things like that.
But that's
Um,
gear stuff that you
Yeah, I mean that's gearing. You can mess with suspension as long as it doesn't decrease the height of the car. I mean, as far as like suspension, you can make it stiffer, you can make it softer, but you can't lower the car. You can't. I mean, obviously, you don't want to raise the car either because that's introducing air underneath the vehicle.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a new car. It's only the second season that they've run this car. They're still trying to find things out about how this car works in the air, things like that. Honestly, I would love to
They
see
haven't.
it.
I'm surprised they haven't taken it from this off season that they had. Why didn't they take the car and run tests and just
Well, they were testing at different tracks. Yeah,
what
no,
not take the chassis, but
well,
the
NASCAR kind of told everybody you can't spend money on testing the way that they used to, like back in I mean, back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and even early 2000s. I mean, a driver would have an off season, but he's always at the track. He's always at work because they're all over the country. I mean, teams would spend millions, millions of dollars transporting vehicle or cars to different tracks all over the country. The drivers would have to fly out to these tracks to spend a day or two testing.
yeah. But that makes sense. That's what.
That really started to see that disparagence between the haves and the have-nots, and that was one of the biggest reasons for this car. They cut back on the amount of allowed testing. You're only allowed so many wind tunnel tests per year.
Mm.
They used to have this thing called a 7-post shaker rig. There was a platform that the car would be strapped down to, and you had actuators and servos underneath it that would simulate loads on the suspension on the different corners of the car. And the computer would run a simulation based on track surfaces and stuff like that. They really don't need the 7-post shaker rig anymore because we have things like iRacing. We have the simulators that are in place where the drivers sit in a seat and they're basically driving a virtual version of the track. And iRacing helped bring that into fruition, and it's being utilized by a lot of the teams. Because the way that those tracks get into the game is that what they do is they go out and they got this big scanning rig, and it goes from the bottom of the track to the top of the track, and they scan the surface. It takes like a full day or 2 days, I think 2 or 3 day, depending on the size of the track.
Yeah.
They'll scan the surface of the track, and it gets every crack, every patch of tar, it gets every bump, gets every dip. I mean, and even down to the texture of the concrete before, and then they pull all of this data in, and then they build the model of this track, and then they add the cosmetics for like the grandstands or the infield, and stuff like that. So that way it's what you're seeing whenever it's, on your monitor and you're racing online on this track. So I mean, teams are getting a lot of real-time feedback. They're getting accurate feedback for things like tire wear. They can run different simulations for running in traffic, how the car will behave back in traffic versus out front. So I mean, they're getting a lot of information that way, and they're doing that all in-house. And it doesn't take a team of rocket scientists to extrapolate the data and put together a setup for a car. Because you and I could go out and we could build a PC and we could get a racing seat and we could establish a racing rig, a sim rig right here, and we would have the same experience, almost the same experience as these teams are.
Yeah, it's
whenever-
all the stuff that we saw back in during COVID.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. But and yeah, I know. Before anybody has the opportunity to call me out, yeah, I am a Hendrick fan, but I do think that $100,000 per
Kind of
team,
still steep.
yeah, dude, that's a little up there. You know, I mean, that's kind of NASCAR going. You know,
We're taking
we
the cash.
want to establish dominance here. You know, and it's like,
Yeah.
you know, where's the safe word? You know, and it's kind of like, okay, did they alter the parts? If they did, fine, then come up with a penalty. Yeah, and then assess it. Do the teams have the opportunity to appeal that? Yeah, absolutely. You're going to get these non-Hendrick fans that are going to be like, well, money buys you a lot of things. Like, look, I mean, at this point, the monetary fine was still there. So, I mean, that's a $400,000 hit to Hendrick.
Do they and they still get the points, right? Or no?
Yeah, I mean, they got their points back, which I think was the biggest crux of it, is that, you know, let's get the points back. You know, because I mean, it's William Byron, he's already got 2 wins this year. So, you know, by neutering those points away from him, it just kind of,
And it's one of those moments like, really? You think I care?
yeah, you know, and so what we're looking at here, current driver standings, after they've been readjusted to reintroduce the points given back to the Hendrick Motorsports guys.
Mhm.
Alex Bowman, driver of the number 48 car, is actually leading the points right now. Behind him is Ross Chastain. William Byron, he's already got 2 wins this year. He's in 3rd place. Kyle Busch is in 4th. Joey Logano's in 5th. Then you've got Kevin Harvick, this is his last season before he retires. He's in 6th. And then you've got Kyle Larson, or Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, and Austin Cindric rounding out the top 10. So, I mean, you've got the 3 active Hendrick Motorsports drivers right now inside the top 10 in points. And, you know, and you know, it's funny because the way that last year played out, where we had like 19 different winners,
Mhm.
winning a race is not going to guarantee you a spot into the finals, into the 16 for the playoffs. Because if we've got 17 different drivers who have won a race between Daytona and I think it's Richmond, where the cutoff for the regular season, somebody's going to be the odd man out with a win. That's not going to be eligible. So it's going to take more than 1 win to lock yourself into the playoffs. And right now, the only person that's done that is William Byron. So for all intents and purposes, William Byron is the only person who has locked himself into the playoffs right now. So, but Tyler Reddick drove the number 45 Monster Energy Toyota from 2311 Racing to victory lane this year, or this weekend, down there in Austin. But up next for the Cup guys, we've got Richmond is actually is it Richmond? I think it's Richmond. Yeah, Richmond is next week. It's the Toyota Owners 400. And I know that you chuckle every time I call off the sponsor of the race.
Yeah,
but
fucking hilarious.
Yeah, well, it's an Easter or not Easter. It's this Sunday. It's going to be a 2:30 Central Time start at Richmond. 400 laps, 300 miles. And then the weekend after that, it's the dirt race at Bristol. 125.5 mile long race. It's 250 laps. I'm a little over the dirt with the Cup guys right now. I mean, it was a novel idea, but I'm just kind of over the dirt. I really am. I mean,
It'll get you back in there.
these cars weren't designed to drive on dirt, like at all. So I don't know, man.
It's one of those things to where
I've been to dirt
I
races.
understand.
Because there used to be two tracks there in Wichita Falls. You got the asphalt track that's out there by the prison,
Yeah,
and then you got that dirt
not even
track.
a track. That's what do you call it? Drafting, drafters.
Drag race. It's a drag strip. Well,
Yeah, drag.
next to the drag strip is it's a quarter mile.
Is it really?
Yeah,
I've
I don't
never-
know if they ripped out the asphalt and turned it into a dirt track or not. I haven't been there in a couple of years, but there used to be a dirt track out there on Seymour Highway, out there by where Jordan Craft Barbecue used to be. It's still there, but it's not being operated.
Yeah.
But
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, I went to that race, and dude, those dirt races are fun because you're sitting in the stands and you're getting pelted with clay coming up off the racing surface as these tires are chewing it up, right?
Your
And
definition of fun's totally different than mine. I don't
well,
I don't
dude,
like
'cause, I mean,
anything
you're down.
lettered in my face.
No, I mean, you're down there in the stands and you're just awash with like the sounds of the exhaust or sounds of the motors, the smell of the exhaust, and just
Yeah.
just the
I
sensation.
want to go to a
speed
drag
is
drag
incredible.
race.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to check out an NHRA event. I know that there's an NHRA track. I cannot talk today for some reason. NHRA drag strip. It's Texas Motorplex. It's just before you get to Corsicana.
Yeah.
No, it's after Corsicana. It's right there in Ennis, I think. Coming south on 287.
I don't think I've been to that one then.
Yeah. Because you take 287 before you get to 45.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I haven't been to that one.
Yeah, it's just south of I cannot think of the name of the place now. Anyway, yeah, it's just north of the 45 exit off of 287. So, but yeah, that looks cool. I mean, I really want to go to an event there, but NHRA tickets are a little pricey.
What about that veteran ticket thing?
VetTix,
Yeah.
really, that's all going to be dependent upon the vendors. Do they make tickets available for that organization or not?
Yeah.
Has somebody bought up a block of tickets and donated it to VetTix?
Yeah.
I mean, I love VetTix to death.
Oh yeah, you ended up giving me tickets to the Air Force Baylor game. That was fun.
Yeah, to the
me and my dad had a very fun time.
Yeah. So,
Now we got one last thing, and
yeah, let's just go ahead and land this plane. Yeah, go ahead.
This is going to be the problem of landing this plane, and you got to keep it short. 5 minutes. Put a timer on it. 5 minutes.
Is it like a runaway Toyota Prius where the accelerator pedal gets stuck?
It's gonna be.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Okay. This week we're gonna give thoughts and prayers to people in Nashville, especially with the school shooting that happened this Monday. The only thing I have from it, and the time frame that I actually learned from it, I wasn't getting that much information. Now all the information is out. It's a. I was hoping that this was going to go like under the rug because of what was happening with the shooter. The shooter was described as a young female teenager, which
All right, I'm going to make this really quick. Really quick.
Okay.
All right. It's not about whether or not this individual identified as a man or woman or was trying to make a statement for the trans or cis trans or whatever, demographic that they identify.
Whatever cult that you wanted to
Right.
describe as.
Okay. This was about somebody with mental health issues, going in and under the guise of making a statement,
Stealing the lives of children and
Yeah.
other people.
going in with the intent to extinguish human life. Now, I have to give props to the Nashville Metropolitan Police Department with their quick response
and urgency.
and urgency. They were very expedient about the way that they pushed into the building. They rushed toward the sound of gunfire. And as soon as, if you saw the body cam footage,
Oh,
as
yeah.
soon, as soon as they
Everything
entered
out
I
there.
think it was the library that they were in. As soon as they turned the corner and made eye contact with the shooter, they dropped it. They dropped the shooter, and they ended the situation.
They dropped them fast.
Yeah, they dropped the individual fast. I'm not assuming, or I'm not identifying gender in this particular case, just because I don't want to get on that soapbox, because I've still got to eat dinner and I got to get ready to go to work.
Yeah, I haven't
Um,
eaten dinner yet
but
either. Would give us 5 minutes.
in retrospect, the Uvalde Police Department has a lot to make up for, and they've got a lot to learn. If you learn anything from this situation, you look at how the Nashville Police Department and their crisis response team handled entry, securing, and ultimately, or entering the building and securing it, and ending the situation by dropping the shooter. With the expedience of a United States Army infantryman or a Marine infantryman. They did it selflessly, not only because it was their jobs, they did it because it was the right thing to do. They put themselves in the line of fire, which is more than I can say for the Uvalde cop who got caught on a hot mic stating, "I don't want to die today." It's not about you. It's about the lives that you've taken an oath to protect.
Yeah.
So congratulations and kudos to the Nashville Police Department for handling that situation the best that they could and ending a situation before it turned way worse than it did.
Yeah.
To the families who lost loved ones that day, our hearts go out to you. You're in our prayers. We don't have an answer as to why this was allowed to happen. We don't know what the solution is. We hope that from this, we can enter into a peaceful discourse and that we can come to a consensus together without the rhetoric, without the hyperbole, and definitely without the violence.
Yeah. And it just goes to show the reason why you shouldn't defund an organization that's supposed to protect you is they probably trained for that over and over and over and over and over.
Over and over and over and over.
And to get it, it's one of those things. It's like it's a skill that you learn, but you hope you never have to use. Like
Right.
a couple of skills that I learned, I hope I never have to use them.
Oh, same. But it doesn't keep me from going over them in my mind.
Oh, yeah.
If somebody wants to break into my home and threaten the lives of myself and my loved ones, my property is replaceable. Myself and my loved ones are not. And I will, just like you, David, my oath doesn't have an expiration date. I will stand in that line of fire, and I will put myself in harm's way to make sure that at the very least my loved ones, can live to see another day.
Are people that you just need to get help out there. But anyways,
well, I'll do my best King Leonidas impersonation and stack bodies at the opening to Thermopylae.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, everybody,
this was episode 102.
Yeah, we hit triple digits, everybody. Hopefully,
Yeah, before we hit five or four digits, we hope to at least have some triple digit revenue coming in from this show.
Yes.
So
Hell, I would take double digits at this point, at least once a week. That would help out a lot.
you
But
know,
anyway,
once the economy settles itself out, we need to legitimately sit down and try to come up with some merch.
yes, I did pricing on a couple of stuff only because just to get it out there and whatnot. But oh god, that stuff is so fucking and I'm talking warehouse stuff.
Yeah, we're not
It-
talking tri-blend like our friends at Black Rifle Coffee have, or muscle cut t-shirts or anything like that. We may want to try doing things like Vista Print, or whatever it is that they do the promotional stuff. We can get like coffee mugs and just start out there.
I am not doing. I see where you're going with this. I'm thinking patches because we both know rug people and patches.
Yeah, we do know rug people.
Just get her
Oh,
look.
and to that effect, our friend Mike just finished the Bataan Death March event not too long ago.
Saw that. I was wondering what that was. I need
Mhm.
to get a hold of him. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah, I do need to reach out. I've been a terrible friend. So,
Usually a case.
but ladies and gentlemen, I'm Johnny Skelton.
I'm David Dickerman.
You have been privileged to take part in episode 102 of Nerd Sports. You're welcome, and we'll catch you next week.
Love you guys. Later.